Hey everyone, it's Alice and it's time for our August mid-month wrap-up. I can't believe we're already halfway through August because it feels like yesterday that July started, so it's not a surprise that I haven't read as much in August as I wanted to so far. I've only got 3 books to talk to you about today, one of which corresponds to a KetchupAthon badge, which means I still have 5 books to try and finish in the second half of the month. Fingers crossed we'll get it done because I don't want to fail my own readathon, but it has been a good reading month so far. So I'll start off with my thoughts on Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This is the new release from the author of The Martian. It is a sci-fi novel and yeah, it came out a couple months ago. Basically, there's this like little parasite thing. I'm not very good at science, so this is going to be a terrible explanation and I apologise for it already. There's a parasite thing that's like covering Earth. No, it's like covering Venus and it's draining the sun somehow. So scientists are investigating it because the world is cooling a little bit every year, and there's a good chance that it will end up causing another ice age and millions of people will die. And we're following a scientist in here whose name is not actually shared for a quite a big chunk of the book because he has amnesia. He comes around on a spaceship and he knows that he's doing something to do with this astrophage thing, but he can't quite remember what, he can't remember who he is, and all he knows is that his 2 co-pilots, the 2 other members of his team are dead. So he is completely alone in space, and the tension in this book is just impeccable. Like, I loved this. 5 stars, 100% 5 stars. I think this is one of the best books I've ever read. This is a completely new favourite for me. I already want to reread it. I want to just drown in this book. That's how much I loved it. And the reason for that is because it's a very tense and stressful situation, but it still feels like such a cosy read, if that makes any kind of sense. The way that the narrator talks, their sense of humour is brilliant. They don't swear a lot, so they use a lot of kind of oh shucks, oh darn, oh boy, and it's just so wholesome and like full-hearted, and I loved it. And there's a friendship that occurs later on between the character and a fellow space traveller, and it's honestly one of the best friendships I've ever read. And if you're a person who likes books that have no romance, but they have a big focus on friendship, this is superb for that. There are flashbacks laced throughout, but they're not done in a heavy-handed way. It flows very naturally. So you get to have the story, the lead up with the astrophage being discovered and them planning this trip and discovering who our character is. And you get it unravelled so naturally. It's honestly, it is a marvel in storytelling. It is one of the best books I've ever read. It makes me want to read more sci-fi, which is a genre I don't explore that often. I'm definitely reading more from Andy Weir. I've got his other 2 books, and I'm definitely going to be reading both of those, because if I love The Martian and Artemis as much as I love this, this is a new favourite author for me, because I could not believe it. This is nearly 500 pages. I think, yeah, like 476 pages. I flew through it. We were reading like 100 pages in a go, and that used to be normal for us, but recently it's been a bit harder for us to squeeze in reading time. But when we did start, I just didn't want to put it down because it was just bringing me so much joy, and I couldn't wait to see what happened next. Even though like there's simultaneously loads going on and hardly anything going on, but the pacing still feels really good. I was still compelled to find out what happened next. I couldn't wait to discover more about the past or more about what was going to happen next. I loved this. I don't want to give spoilers and I don't want to go too in depth, but I loved this. Unfortunately, a book I didn't love was Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Don't shoot. I know this is well loved on BookTube, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. I gave it 3 stars. So if you don't know what Red, White and Royal Blue is yet, they're Prime Minister, no, not the Prime Minister, the President's son falls in love with the Prince of the United Kingdom, and they start a relationship. And obviously there's like problems with like international diplomacy and like ethics and stuff, but also it's a fact that the prince is closeted. Nobody knows that he's gay, and the president's son is just discovering his bisexuality and the way that his relationship with the prince is going to work in this like new view of himself. And I'll be honest, I don't get why this is so hyped. It's not YA, which surprised me. It's more of like a new adult, almost adult romance, because they are 21 and 23, I believe. I thought they were a bit younger. And there's also a lot more sex scenes than I was expecting, some of which are written really, really well. Like, getting me hot under the collar. Really enjoyed some of the sex scenes, but some of them just feel like shoehorned in to be like, oh look, they're having more sex, look how much sex they're having. And it didn't feel very authentic or necessary or genuine. It just was like horny teenagers can't keep their hands off each other, and it didn't really interest me that much. I liked the emotional moments between the two characters. I thought when they were talking about their feelings, when they were like sharing these emails and opening up about their insecurities, that was compelling. And I liked the fact that they got together so early in the book as well. I thought it was going to be, I'm developing feelings for him, but I think he doesn't feel the same way. And I thought it was going to take a very long time for the relationship to get going. But I think you're about 20% of the book, 20% of the way through, when Henry first kisses Alyce. And then they just, like, start a relationship. And it's really nice to actually get to see the couple together throughout the book, rather than the will they, won't they, will they, won't they, when you quite clearly know that they will. So that was a refreshing take on it. But I just felt like because they got together so early, there wasn't really any stakes. Like, I don't know, I'm not really interested in politics, so I didn't really care about all the election stuff. I didn't really care about Alex's mother's time as president. I'm not a huge fan of the monarchy, so I didn't really care about the bits about royalty and Kensington and all of those kind of things. So I don't know if this is just not the book for me. I liked the side characters. I was really interested in Nora and June's relationship because it feels like there's something between them. I was wondering if there was going to be a polyamorous relationship, like, between the background characters, because it seemed like that was the way it was going, but then it didn't get explored, which I was a bit frustrated with. And I really liked Bea, who is Harry's sister. Henry's sister. Harry, princes, my brain. Bea, the sister, is really, really fascinating, and I wanted to read more from her, but she just kind of pops up occasionally, and I wanted to focus on her more. I think if I'd had those things, those background relationships being fleshed out a bit more, and those background characters taking more of a step forward, this would have probably ended up being a 4-star for me, possibly a 5-star. But as it was, it just felt like the only reason this is really popular is because it's got a lot of sex in it, and it's kind of like a starter kit for like adult romance. Because if you've read a lot of YA and then you go onto a book like this, it kind of reads like fan fiction-y. It's got that kind of comfortable feeling that you get when you're reading fan fiction and you know these characters, because obviously you can picture these people really well, like being in the White House, being in Kensington. Like, you can picture the settings where the characters are and the way that they're interacting. So it does feel a bit fan fiction-like, which it wasn't a problem for me. I didn't mind that. But I think that might be why it's so popular, because it's like, it feels like a comfort read, even when it's the first time you're reading it. But it's simultaneously not really adding all that much to the conversation. I don't know. If you love this book, please let me know why down in the comments, just so I can see if there's anything I'm missing. Because even like the big quote that everybody like quotes from this is like, history her, but we can make some, or something like that. It's on an Illumicrate A4 folder thing for prints that they included, and I just don't get it. Like, it doesn't seem like an inspirational quote to me. It doesn't seem like something that would be printed on t-shirts and like waved from banners. Like, history, huh? I don't get it. I think if the author hadn't made such a point of making that quote like meaningful within the world of the story, people would just forget it. But it baffles me. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. But yeah, 3 stars for Red, White and Royal Blue. Last but not least, the third book that I'd like to talk about for you today is Hollowpox by Jessica Townsend. This is the third book in the Nevermore series, and I read this to get my Ketchup badge in KetchupAthon because this is a middle grade book. And this one was a 5-star. I knew it was going to be. It would have also been my 5-star prediction badge if I was doubling up yet. If I haven't read a 5-star prediction by the end of the month, this will end up getting me 2 badges. But this is amazing. I can't share too much about this because it is the third book in a series, but if you haven't read Nevermore yet, I don't know what you're doing with your life, please leave this channel and go and read it now, because these are so special. So basically, Morrigan Crow is a cursed child, which means she's destined to die on her 12th birthday, I think. And somebody comes and saves her from that, and he sweeps her away to his country, and he ends up getting her involved in these trials to join something called the Wanderers Society. And in book 3, we're a bit further on from that. Morrigan may or may not be in the Wanderers Society doing wondrous things, but I can't share that because that would be spoilery. But basically, in this one, there is a disease called Hollowpox that is infecting things called wonimals. So wonimals are like animals. So animals in the world of Nevermore are called animals. Then there are wonimals, who are magical animals, who have, like, human characteristics. So they're either, like, people who look like humans but also have, like, snouts or, like, fur. Or they are animals who, like, literally look like animals, but they can talk and interact like humans. And there is this disease called Hollowpox, which is infecting them. And all of the wonimals are, like, reverting back to their animal ways. So they're attacked on the train by a tiger, and there's a bear that, like, starts rampaging everywhere, and things are bad, because obviously people start getting very racist towards the wonimals, and they're saying, like, they should all be just quarantined away, and Morrigan wants to save the day, because she is friends with some wonimals, she's got teachers who are wonimals, they're definitely a part of society, and that means a lot to her, and she just wants Nevermore to stay as magical as it can. So Morrigan decides to try to find a cure for the Hollowpox. And, oh my god, I loved the first book. And I flew through it and I thought it was brilliant. I read it in basically one sitting. Loved the idea of all the trials. And it was just great. 5 stars easily. The second book, I had a bit more of a struggle with. I just struggled to get my teeth into the story. I wasn't really that interested. All the lessons and stuff, it was very reminiscent of another middle grade book with a magical school. And I was starting to feel a bit drudgy. I thought, this is going to be hit or miss. If I didn't enjoy this one, I was probably going to give up with the series. But I was like a chapter into this one and I knew it was going to be something special. And it is darker. It has a lot more of, like, menacing vibes. There's the potential for evil in here, which is really fascinating. And the way that this story ends, I cannot wait for the next one. Like, I've been waiting to read these from out of the library because I've been reading them in paperback, because I don't have the hardbacks of the first few, and I don't want to own the later books in hardback if I can't get the first ones in hardback. But having read this, I want to pre-order Silverborn. I want to read Silverborn as soon as it comes out, because I need to know what happens next. I'm so glad that there are at least another 3 more books in this series coming, because I need them. And I love Morrigan. I love all of the unit members. I love the entire cast and crew of the Hotel Duke of Leon. I love every single character in this book with a deep passion. Even the way that Jessica Townsend writes in some of the background characters, they're so fleshed out so instantly. You get such an idea of their character, and it's such a vibrant world. You just fall into it. These are probably the best middle grades I've ever read. Definitely starting to feel a little bit YA as well. Like, they are aging up slightly. Morrigan's only 13 or 14 in this one, I think. So she is still quite young. It's definitely like a teen kind of crossover book. But the way there are these darker themes, and it's discussing things like pandemics, and it's discussing things like isolation and quarantine and lockdowns and things like that. Considering this was written before the year of COVID, like, Jessica Townsend could not have done a better job of writing a timely book, because damn, like, there are so many things in here when, like, the government are making bad calls and there's suddenly protests everywhere because they're trying to, like, the people are trying to get their voices heard because they don't agree with what's going on. And it's just so strange seeing it reflected through the lens of this magical world with these like magical creatures. I don't know. This was just like a perfect storm for me. I loved this. And this was an easy 5-star as well. So, like, quite honestly, I want to reread from the beginning again. Because I'm wondering, with knowing how much better it gets, whether I would like Wondersmith more on a second read. But I'm definitely going to be looking out for these if I can get the hardcovers, because I would like to start collecting them. And yeah, I'm just so excited for Silverborn, because damn, things are happening. Things are happening in this book, and I need to know how they resolve. That's all I can really say without getting too spoilery. But that shows that I've had a good reading month so far. Even the book that I didn't enjoy was still a 3-star, and that's pretty nice. We've had quite a few DNFs on 1-stars over the last couple of months, so it looks like things are on the rise a little bit, and fingers crossed the rest of the month will also be a success. I hope your reading month is going well so far in August. If you're taking part in KetchupAThon, let me know down in the comments how you are doing for collecting your badges, because I know there are some people who have already got over half their badges, which I'm amazed by you. I'm astounded and amazed, and I'm so happy for you, and I'm so glad that people liked my stupid little badge idea, because I had such fun making them, and I'm having so much fun like awarding them to people as they get to that stage, which is lovely. But yes, thank you for watching. If you're interested in seeing more from us, then I post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. So the next video will be coming up in a couple of days. If you like this video, please like it. And if you'd like to subscribe, we'd be super duper grateful. And we'll see you in a few days with another video. Bye!